Hi, and welcome to the Property Playbook. Each week, we tackle the headaches that keep landlords up at night and uncover the strategies and plays that helps landlords and property owners succeed. We bring the subject matter experts to you for quick, information-packed episodes. I'm your host, Peter Carlseen, real estate broker here in San Diego, California, and helping clients since 2004. Today, I am joined with business coach and real estate investor, Jonathan Ghiloni at Action Coach. Thanks for being here, Jonathan.
Thank you, Peter. I'm happy for the opportunity, and I'm looking forward to our conversation. This is great.
Awesome. So people listening to the podcast are usually landlords, real estate investors, and they're probably wondering, why would I have a business coach on an episode? So talk to me. I understand you own investment properties.
Yes, I absolutely love real estate. It has been key to my success, and thankfully, I've been able to invest in the San Diego market over a couple decades, and it's worked out very well for me. And on the coaching side, I love to help people get their business in order so that they can invest in the things that they want to invest in. Maybe that's real estate, maybe it's not, but I love to help business owners in that.
Excellent. So you're kind of helping people get from maybe where they are, where they need to be or want to be, and give them a little bit of extra freedom.
Yes.
So what got you investing in real estate?
Yeah.
Why real estate?
Yeah, thanks. That goes back a couple decades. When I was a teenager, I would look around at the people in my circle, whether that be at church, family, friends, so on, and see who do I think kind of has it together. Who do I maybe want to be like in 15, 20 years? Who do I not want to be like?
Okay.
As well, because that's just part of it.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the common denominators to the people that, in my just uneducated opinion, had it together was they invested in real estate. They invested in real estate, whether that was a primary and a rental, whether that was a few rentals. So that's kind of what pointed me into that. And then also growing up, my grandmother bought me the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Mm-hmm.
And so that got my mind thinking. And before we had podcasts, we had radio shows.
Yeah.
You remember that. And some of the radio shows I would listen to were how to invest in real estate. I used to listen to Ray Lucia on the
Ray Lucia, yep.
Going into college. Clark Howard, how to budget your money and how to be smart. So those little things got me interested in real estate. And then as soon as I could, I bought my first property.
How soon was as soon as you could?
I struck out a few times in my 19 to 20 college years. As soon as graduated college, got married, started the business, and within 6 months, we bought our primary residence down in Imperial Beach.
Okay. Now, you weren't always in business coaching. So talk to me, because I want to touch on this. You were in the world of contractor stuff, work, whatever. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a very big part to my story. Went to Point Loma Nazarene, got my business communication degree, and from there started Ghiloni Granite Design, which was a granite fabrication and tile installation company. Mm-hmm. So we were in the construction sphere.
Yeah.
And that requires a crew, that requires trucks, that requires a lot of moving parts, that requires a manufacturing facility. So we had a lot of infrastructure to run that business. Halfway into my 20-year tenure before I sold the business, I hired a business coach, and she helped me get systems in place. She helped me get my business in order so that it could run without me, so that I could start to invest in things. Start to, hone in on my profits and what I'm going to do with those retained earnings. And my plan was to go into real estate with those. So that's kind of where the construction side came in.
Got it. So being in the construction realm maybe gave you a little bit of an extra advantage when it came to real estate, because that could be a very expensive part of owning real estate.
Absolutely. It helped me on the managing the property side, where I was able to go do the quick repair or go fix up the property relatively easily because I had the equipment, I had the staff. And it came into play. It really came into play when the ADU regulations came, or the new ADU policies came. Parking was taken away. Because to take it back a little bit, when we look for properties, we look for R2 and R3 properties where we could build a second unit.
Now, for those listening, what does R2 and R3 mean?
Yeah. So basically, instead of just having one property on the front of the house, you can build one in the back, or R3, you can build a third unit or so. So we would look for those, but of course that's what everybody was looking for.
Sure.
So as a young man, you just don't have the capability to compete with the big investors. So the ADU thing came out around 2019, and so that really catapulted my real estate investing and really catapulted my real estate portfolio.
So now you have a house, and with the new ADU rules, accessory dwelling unit rules, you don't need that R2, that zoning designation. You can put another unit on there. So it really kind of opened up everything.
Yeah, absolutely. It was great for us because I would look for a property that had something like a corner lot or maybe an alley where I could have separate access for the second unit. And you're also able to do what's called a junior ADU, which is something like convert a garage or convert a big living space or do an addition to the existing to the front, the primary house, and be able to put a unit there as well. And a big difference from the R2 and the R3 and the ADU is there's no parking requirements, or the parking requirements are lowered quite a bit in our area, where you only have to be so close or so far from a bus stop.
Mm-hmm.
So you didn't have to have parking. So a lot of the space on the lot didn't have to be designated for parking. It could be designated for housing.
Got it. So you could get some of these lots that have, maybe a little bit extra room on them, an R1, standard single family home, and you can convert that one into potentially three separate livable units without having to go through any kind of rezoning type of issues. Okay. As a business coach, I'm sure there are certain numbers you look at in businesses. There's certain, there's lag indicators, there's leading indicators, there's all these different things. When it comes to real estate, what are the numbers that you are paying attention to?
Yeah. Revenue is vanity. Profit is sanity. Cash flow is king.
Ooh, I love that. I love that.
Cash flow gets you going, right? And that's what we're looking for is cash flow. So when you add value to a property by doing an ADU, by adding another unit, by making a single family into a duplex, you're adding cash flow. So when you're able to add cash flow, your appraisals go way up because now it's not just how many square feet is on the property for your comps to get your pricing, but now we're looking at cap rates.
Yes, you're looking at income generation.
Generation.
Yes.
So now we've gone from, like in the business coaching, we take business owners from being on the tools, from having a job, to now having a business.
Yes.
And in the rental, we go from having just a property that produces rent and makes a payment to now a cash producing entity. And that's where the cash flow comes in. And then when you have that cash flow, the banks look at you a little different. Like, this guy knows how to make money. We will loan you more, which you got to be careful with that. But now you can, once you're recognized as a real estate investor, now you can invest in other places quite a bit easier.
You can replicate that process.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And when the bank sees your success, then they'll invest in you.
Now, I'm sure there's been maybe one or two mistakes over the last however many years you've been investing. Is there anything you would do differently?
Yeah, do differently. One thing that I do different than others is when I go to buy a property to start this whole process of, buying the primary or the single family rental that I can build an ADU on, I don't mind paying a little more than the average person out there because it's a long-term play for me. I'm looking to what the value is in a few years. I'm not looking to pay what the value is going to be after I add value, but I don't mind paying 50 over asking, 75 over asking, so that I can get it, so I can get the property. I'll get renters in there. They'll start making the payment, and then I'll start to add value. And by the time I go through the permit process and build the unit, then the property is not quite worth double, but a good 30-40% more.
That's substantial.
Yeah, just kind of a rule of thumb. People ask, well, what's your property worth now? Now that you build the ADU, and I am under the impression that the amount of the cost of construction is your instant equity. So if you bought a property for $600, it costs you $300 to put an ADU. Now your property is worth $900, right? And then with a little bit of time now, we start getting some appreciation from there. And then not even taking into account all the cash flow, all the rental that would come in from.
Yeah, and what I see, you know, in the real estate side of things, when people buy a regular like single family home, usually the value of that home is whatever the open market's going to pay, however much somebody will pay to live there.
Absolutely.
And you add value by when you put on an ADU or a junior ADU or both. Suddenly, it's not what's the value of living there; it's what's the value of that income generation, and that's two very different metrics. Because in San Diego, we sometimes see some market volatility. We'll see prices go up a lot. We've seen prices go down a lot. And if it's one of those standard single family homes, it's tied to whatever that standard resale market is, up, down, whatever. When it's producing a certain amount of cash, rental values can fluctuate, but they typically don't fluctuate the same as the resale market. So your value, your equity as a business owner or as a landlord is much more stable.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of a lagging indicator. It falls behind that, and so I mean, you're locked into that price for the time of your lease, so they're going to pay you that, and just in general, rents don't go down, rents go up, and we can count on that. So you're making money on the rental, or the rental is paying your payment. You've got the monthly cash flow if it's positive. There's good tax write-offs in it. If you ever need to have good tax write-offs, you can even do a cost segregation, and be able to bring your tax burden down here and there, depending on the year for you. And then you have the appreciation of the property.
So you're winning on multiple fronts.
Multiple fronts.
You're winning on cash flow. You're winning on appreciation. You're winning on tax deduction. It sounds kind of like a no-brainer.
Yeah, and maybe I'm naive and an optimist, but San Diego is a beautiful place to invest. It's a beautiful place to live. People are always coming in. Job market seems to be very good. We have the military. So it's been very well for me, and all the investors that I know love San Diego. I see it as a bit of a bubble. I maybe have some blinders on and, be biased to it, but that's where I'm at. It's worked very well for me.
So that leads me to my next question. Were there other areas that you potentially looked at and said, well, maybe I need to invest in Phoenix or San Antonio or Indianapolis? Have you looked at other places?
This is quite the debate, but absolutely not. I love San Diego. I can drive by the property. And this, my brain goes back to me driving to college, listening to Ray Lucia.
Okay.
And that was one of his rules that I learned from him. Whether right or wrong, I took it as a rule for me, is to invest where you can drive, within an hour or two, or drive by on a Saturday. And just to be able to check to make sure the weeds aren't as high as the roof line, just to make sure that it seems like from the outside that they're taking care of it.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm assuming you take this as a very business-minded approach. I know with some clients, their rental property used to be their primary residence, which a lot of times means there's a lot of emotional attachment to it, which can sometimes make some decisions more tough than others. It sounds like you look at this, it's strictly business, which is a very logical way to look at it. Are there any other kind of insights or things that, maybe it's secret? I won't ask you your secret sauce, but is there anything else that you would say has been a help for you as you've invested in San Diego real estate?
Yeah, I like what you just said about, I see it as only business. And it takes me back to my first primary unit, the one that we talked about at the beginning of the episode. We made that house, my wife and I, for ourselves. We completely remodeled it to how we would like it. So we didn't just think about business in this case, but now that's just a nice rental for us.
Sure.
And a family is enjoying it. But it's a little over the top. It's not rental grade fixtures. It's not rental grade cabinets. I was in the granite industry, so there's beautiful stonework, beautiful hardwood floors. So that's not your typical, rental property, so to speak. But that's kind of how that is. So, but yes, as I do things now, when they're just rentals, and depending on the neighborhood, we keep up with the neighborhood.
Sure.
So that it goes with what's expected there.
Are there any upgrades that you found or I won't say upgrades, features that have been kind of you've got to make sure you include them in all your rentals? Or are there any?
Yes. No carpet. whatsoever.
Okay.
In any place. They can put down throw rugs or something.
Sure.
Change out with time. So it's laminate flooring or tile flooring if the budget allows. We usually go through all the windows so that they're nice and efficient. Usually we're putting nice new vinyl windows if we have an older property.
Yeah.
Paint colors are usually the same all throughout, just so we have the paint on hand.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And that's about all I can think of there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. So, Coach Jonathan, if somebody wanted to get in touch with you in regards to business coaching or had questions for you, what's the best way for them to reach you?
Yeah, thank you. Just call me. My personal cell phone, 619-679-7709. I love to help business owners reach their goals faster than they would on their own, and to be able to kind of get off the tools and turn into a leader mode where they can start to get their team to work for them, learn how to delegate, learn how to put systems in place. And it worked for me, the coaching program. I absolutely love to help others do it, and I want to see them succeed.
Awesome. And I do want to ask you one more question before we get out of here. Why did you get into business coaching? Because it sounds like you're successful in real estate investing. You ran a successful granite fabrication company. Why are you doing business coaching?
Yeah, thank you. So I hired a business coach halfway through my tenure as in the granite business, in the construction business, and she really helped me break through some ceilings and walls that I had. The only way for me to be able to make more money and have more time was to do more. So I didn't have a lot of time for family and so on. So she helped me in that, and that was such a life changer for me that now I want to help other business owners do that. A lot of these business owners have a lot of skill. They're very good at what they do. Their clients love them, but they have no time for family, no time for themselves, and no time to work on their business or work towards their future.
Got it. So you're helping them maybe shift gears a little bit and get more into that working on your business, not necessarily in the day-to-day of everything, but having them build that value of the business.
Yes, that's the name of the game.
Awesome. Well, thank you again, Jonathan, for being on. Look forward to having you back on another episode. I appreciate everybody coming in and watching. Be sure to hit like, hit subscribe, watch some of our other content. Would love a 5-star review. And if you have any questions about your rental properties, reach out to us. You can reach me directly on our website, www.praehomes.com. Again, Peter Carlseen, Procelsus Property Management, here with the Property Playbook. Thank you for listening.